Today's episode is about the validation method for dementia care, a simple yet powerful practice that gives caregivers strategies to navigate dementia behaviors. So stay tuned and we'll get into it. Hi, Dr. Lakelyn here. Welcome to Caregiver Chats. I'm a gerontologist and caregiving advocate for Home Instead and Honor Company. I'm so glad you're taking the time to join me. These conversations are a space for learning, reflection, and support. And I invite you to subscribe to Caregiver Chats on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget, I love hearing from you. You can email me anytime at caregiverchats@homeinsteadinc.com. Today, we're diving into a method that has transformed the way many families and professionals approach dementia care. It's called the validation method. If you've ever felt stuck when a loved one with dementia repeatedly asks hard questions like, "Where's my mom?" or insists on something that isn't true, you know how stressful that can be. Often we fall back on arguing, correcting, or redirecting. But those strategies can sometimes leave everyone feeling more frustrated. That's why I'm so excited to welcome today's guest, Carmen Bowman. Carmen is a consultant, educator, and founder of Edu-Catering, where she helps caregivers and care teams replace institutional practices with approaches rooted in empathy, dignity, and home. She's also a certified validation presenter with years of experience teaching caregivers how to connect with loved ones through presence, empathy, and trust. In our conversation, Carmen will share the heart behind the validation method, why it's such a powerful tool for dementia care, and practical examples you can start using right away. This approach can give caregivers another valuable tool in their caregiving toolbox for navigating challenging moments with empathy and confidence. Hi, Carmen. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am really looking forward to our discussion.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Lakelyn.
Well, I thought before we dive into the topic of the validation method, it would be so great for you to just share a little bit of your background, because I think it's so unique and interesting and kind of how you made your way into this space. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's see. I was working on my bachelor's in social work, but fell in love with activities, and then while I was working on my master's, I applied to be a surveyor. And so I kind of have a neat privilege of being the first certified activity professional to be a surveyor. That was in Colorado.
Wow.
For 9 years. I got to survey nursing homes, assisted living, and adult day programs. Then that actually led to a job with CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services in Baltimore. So now I got to be a federal surveyor and watch other state surveyors. Also, be a policy analyst, and I did get to analyze policies, believe it or not, and I liked that. And I also got to teach surveyors. And so then I opened my own business actually 21 years ago already, called Edu-Catering, catering education for compliance and culture change. So every time I talk, usually I talk about changing institutional culture of nursing homes and assisted living. And guess what? Institutional creep can sometimes land in home health, maybe even in our homes. I hate to say, but let's be honest. The goal is to honor the person always. And then
Yes.
I've also been very blessed to be a part of the national culture change movement and involved with lots of national projects. And then what brings us together today is I fell in love with the validation method in college, and then took the money and the time to become a certified validation worker. That's the first level. A certified validation group practitioner, next level, and then a certified validation presenter. So I have the, the permission to present on it. And then the next level is teacher. And then the teacher teaches all those other courses. So thank you for bringing attention to that topic today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your rich history in this space. I think it's so interesting the perspective you bring. And we met through the Alzheimer's Association's Dementia Care Provider Roundtable group, which Home Instead's a founding member of, and I've been a part of since its founding. And you have come to speak to us on numerous occasions about just kind of changing our perspective on how culture can impact the care we're providing, regardless of the setting. And what thought was so interesting about a lot of what you have shared is that even just the words we use and the way we approach certain scenarios can make a big difference. And so I'm really looking forward to talking more with you today about the validation method. I think for some folks, this is a totally new concept. And for family caregivers especially, there's no playbook for being a family caregiver. And so a lot of people are just doing the best they can each and every day. And I know you're going to share some real world examples of how you can maybe approach situations differently with validation and empathy in mind. And so I just want to preface this conversation with, if caregivers are listening and they think, oh gosh, I've been doing things maybe the wrong way for all this time, don't be hard on yourself. I think this is just a conversation to open up our perspective, to look at things differently and maybe try a new approach. So I thought I'd just start there before we dive into what the validation method is. But if you want to add anything to that, Carmen, please do.
Well, Lakelyn, that's a perfect segue to this, everybody. I actually tend to use this as a title. It's like a long title, but get this. The validation method is empathetic, trauma-informed care for people with dementia. And then I say this, instead of lying and arguing, convincing, redirecting, and ignoring. And that's what I'm going to draw light to today, that we've all done those things probably, and we don't need to feel shame. We're all trying our best. But I do want to start right there because that's what it taught me, that there are better people-to-people ways to relate than some of the things maybe we're doing that may not be helping.
Well, and I think we all want to relate better, especially if you're caring for someone. You want to relate well to your care recipient. So I'm really looking forward to diving in. So would you mind by kind of starting with just kind of the background on validation method and just kind of an overview, and then I'm excited to go from there.
Yep. So all credit goes to a beautiful woman named Naomi File, who has only passed away not too long ago, maybe a year or two, at age 92, I think. And this became her life's work. And she found out that some of the methods we use don't help people. See, she tried them, right? She's with us, right? And she was married to Ed File, who was a filmmaker. And so believe it or not, you can go watch a lot of their work starting in the 60s and 70s up to her before she died over Zoom. Isn't that something? And I am forever grateful to them. So with that, I would just start with some basic things like this. We all know these things, but it's good to be reminded. Validation means to really accept the person as they are. Sometimes it's hard for us to accept mom and dad, older and with dementia. But that's really key. Just think of doing maybe a better job of accepting and not fighting what's happening. We also have to accept the fact that some older people live in their past. It's really not a hallucination when someone sees the truck or sees their mother, because we all have a brain that does that. We all can see things from our past. She talks about eidetic images. They're imprinted in our brain. And so sometimes we've gotten it wrong and we think it's a hallucination and we need a med. And I'm going to walk through how to handle that when someone talks as if they're seeing something. She also found out that sometimes people are returning to their past for lots of good reasons. They might be trying to restore a past conflict. Guess what? An older person now may not have gotten good counseling when they were little. Something bad might have happened. Let's be honest, you guys. I hate using the worst example, but what if a little girl was harmed by an older adult and never told anyone or tried and was told not to talk about it? Therapy wasn't as big as a deal as it is now. Even
Right.
children may not know what happened to mom as a little girl. And guess what? She might finally let it out, is what Naomi Feil discovered. If you don't
Wow.
let it out when you're little or middle ages, guess what? It will come out. That's what she found out. And so we have the privilege of helping people maybe resolve an old conflict or maybe relive something, okay? When you're older and you have dementia, life can get boring, let's be honest. It's hard. You don't have your capacities. So maybe you just do something to relive it. So watch me, Lakelyn. Can you guess what I'm doing?
Oh gosh. Making something,
Yes.
stirring.
Not stirring. I bet someone knows watching us, okay? It's, why you may not know, Lakelyn? I'm trying to portray kneading bread, okay?
Oh, okay. I was going to go to baking
Good.
next. That was going to be my next guess.
I don't do that ever. And not that many people do. But let's say I had the Bowman Bakery in town. Oh my goodness. Wouldn't it make sense that I would restore my dignity and my usefulness and my productivity and what I was known for by preparing my bread? See? Another one is, restoring motherhood. Someone might kiss their hand and stroke it like it's a baby. They might refer to it as a baby. And we're tempted to say, oh, stop it, Mom. What are you doing? Carmen, stop that. That bothers me. Sometimes we make it all about me. But see, this is wisdom in my old age with dementia to restore my motherhood, what I was good at, you see? Isn't that beautiful? We can validate, we can accept, and we can acknowledge what they're doing isn't bad, and what they're doing may have a reason. And we don't call it therapy. They used to call it validation therapy, and I kind of like this because it's better than a therapy. Do you see that? Isn't that neat? Therapy's kind of short-lived, and this is a practice and a method you can use always.
Thank you so much for giving some examples and for explaining that. And I think, just taking the time to understand the meaning behind something that a person living with dementia might be doing, like the kneading of the bread or the kissing of their hand, taking the time, that can, I think, sometimes be challenging for caregivers because they're so overwhelmed. They're trying to do so many things. But I think what I'm kind of hearing is we just need to slow down a little bit and take just a little bit more time to provide that empathy and understanding. And I like how you also said, don't make it all about me. Sometimes we're consumed with the tasks of the day and our to-do list. And so we want to maybe rush through something or say, hey, that's bothering me or that's inappropriate, quote unquote, in this context. But if we kind of take a step back and see it from the person's perspective, I think that can help us have more empathy and just have more insight into what that person's lived experience is with dementia.
Good. And everybody, I'll walk you through this, but what we do is we just let it be natural. So if you don't know what I'm doing, you can naturally ask me, what are you doing? Maybe I can tell you. Hopefully I can, maybe I can't. So then you might ask, are you kneading bread? Oh my goodness. Weren't you the baker in town? Oh my goodness. We loved your bread. See, it's so beautiful when you just genuinely care and move into it and don't stop it, whatever it is. And maybe you don't know what they're doing, and that's okay too, okay? Nothing's a perfect science here. So I'm going to use Where's My Mom and walk us through some of those other methods.
That's a
right?
very common question.
So Where's My Mom? We started with what actually had a title, reality orientation. Naomi Feil in the 60s learned to do reality orientation. And so in some of her films, she'll even say, well, your mother is dead and you live in an old folks home now. And she doesn't mean harm, right? She was taught to do this. And sadly, in most cases, would you agree, Lakelyn, when we say it like that, it causes a lot of upset and a lot of grief, even if they know it, okay? And so that's basically what most people learned was, oh my gosh, that brought it all up again. That caused harm. I don't want to cause harm, right? And so guess what I think what happened was we told the truth. Your mom is dead, right? And the truth hurt people. So what's the opposite of truth?
Those little white lies.
Yep. So we've called it little white lies. We've called it therapeutic lying. We've called it therapeutic fibbing. I've heard it as truth therapy. Well, Naomi Feil discovered that people actually know the truth even within their dementia. And I can see that, can't you? Like somewhere inside you, you know your mom died. And the minute we lie now, lie to me, Lakelyn, where's my mom?
Oh, she's at the grocery store.
And guess what, guys? She's always at the grocery store. Isn't that funny? Almost everybody says that. I think that's funny. I don't want to go to the grocery store. Anybody else? Anyway, so we lied. And maybe, some people must feel like it helped in the moment, but Naomi Feil discovered that actually what's happening is they've pinned you now as a person who lies to them and they can't trust you. And we have no wiggle room, would you agree, to lose trust with people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Trust is so important.
That's right. So that's reality orientation. That's the lie. Now, the next thing many people are taught, Lakelyn, what would you say, like a main approach we are all taught? Like when you don't know what to do this. What would you say?
Oh, always redirect.
Right. And some people tell me, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of redirecting all day long. Okay, so please redirect me, Lakelyn. Where's my mom?
Oh, would you like to go do an activity or would you like a snack? Those are kind of some common redirection techniques that I think a lot of people use.
That's right.
Well-meaning, of course.
Of course, everybody. We all mean well. I'm not shaming anybody. I love learning this stuff. Like, how can I do it better, right? So, Lakelyn, I'm going to put you in this position. You're the one who just said, where's my mom? And I say to you, would you like a cookie? How does that make you feel right now?
Dismissed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Dismissed.
Doesn't feel great.
Ignored. Keep going. When someone feels dismissed and ignored, they must not what?
They must not be valued by that person.
You must not love me. Isn't that crazy, guys? Redirection can make someone feel ignored and even worse, unloved. That is not what we want to do. So we can do it different because we want to build trust. We want to build relationship, right? And so let's see, there's so many things I could teach you guys in a short amount of time. So what I'd like to jump to is what we call centering yourself first, okay? So Naomi Feil she insists on this, okay? So all it really means is take a breath. Like you might, like you said, Lakelyn, caregivers don't have a lot of time. So probably one breath, give yourself that. Take a deep breath in your nose, out your mouth, and it gives you a moment to think. We don't always have to respond right away anyway. We don't. I'm like telling myself that, right? And then what my teachers taught me was to think of it as emptying yourself. I think of it as validating yourself. So remember, I'm kissing my baby and that bugs you. You set it aside. You validate yourself. Even though that bugs me, I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to move in to her world, is how my teachers taught me, with empathy. So everybody listening, we've all heard empathy. And the most intriguing definition I've ever heard is that to move into someone else's world. So you set aside. Isn't that good? It's just intriguing. Like, okay, I want to try that. And so everything else goes away. Your own opinions, your own thoughts, your own worries, your own need to walk down the hall, and it's another way of saying to be present. Okay, I'm going to move in. I'm going to be present. Oh, here we go. And now, one thing I would add to this quick moment in time is to challenge yourself to say to yourself, don't argue. That's a big tenet.
That is so important.
It's a good tenet of validation. I'm going to validate someone, then I wouldn't be arguing, right? So I'm not going to argue about where mom is. So just, Carmen, do not argue. Deep breath. I just set my stuff aside, move in, and whatever you do, Carmen, don't argue. So then we teach the technique to rephrase. So we all learned rephrase somewhere, restate, repeat. You can say the exact same words. So Lakelyn, you're my student. Just rephrase me, please. Where's my mom?
Oh, I understand you're looking for your mom.
Perfect. You can say the exact same words. Oh, where's your mom? You can say, you're looking for your mom. Okay, that's it. So remember, center, breath, empty, empathy, move into their world, don't argue, rephrase whatever they just said. Let's do another one, Lakelyn. Oh, I need the truck. I need the truck.
Oh, we need the truck. Where's the truck?
Good. So you just repeat it. Don't do where yet.
Yep. Oh,
But
okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm getting ahead of us.
I know. It's good to practice. I'm putting you on the spot. I need to get the children. I need to get the children.
We need to get the children.
Good. And you don't need to add we, actually, Lakelyn, because
okay.
It's me. I need to get the children. Okay.
You need to get the children.
It's actually more honoring. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me just do that with you. Okay. Also, we are taught to do this very genuine, not mimicking, not mocking. Sometimes when we repeat someone, it could look like you're mocking them, right? I suppose. So I like to add the word genuine. Just be genuine. Oh, you're looking for the truck. Oh, where are your kids? And you kind of match it. You see how I match it?
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a lot of time, everybody, but another premise as you learn more about validation is to observe for emotion, to say their emotion, and to say it with the same emotion. Isn't that something? So I could maybe add, oh, you're worried. You're looking for your children. And I say it with that kind of a voice. Oh, you're worried. You're looking for your children. And I like that personally. I've studied languages. I speak German. So look at how, if you're with someone who speaks German, it's pretty nice to be able to speak German, right? And so notice this is what has happened with validation, is to kind of match what they're saying and how they're saying it. And you are actually kind of speaking their language. Isn't that neat? It's a whole other level.
That's a neat way to look at it.
Of validation. So rephrasing is your friend, everybody, is how I've started to think of it. It's the key to not starting an argument. Isn't that great? Instead of saying, oh, you don't have a truck. See, boom, argument. Oh, your kids are grown. Boom, argument. See? So try not to argue. Rephrase is the key. And then you're also showing that you're what? Oh, you're looking for your truck. Oh, this person's actually listening to me. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Like, boom, the stress goes down instead of up for them and you. So listening builds trust. And then we teach to use those factual words. So, who and what and where and when and how. And I don't mean, the way I used to teach it, guys, was wrong. I think I implied to always use every single one. That is not correct. I've learned myself, Carmen, they are tools in the toolbox. So if a who, what, where, when, how fits the situation, then you use it. So we might say, truck? What truck? And I'm not even looking at my list, okay? I'm just thinking, what would be natural in a conversation? What kind of truck? You had a truck? Oh, what color was your truck? What did you do with your truck? So all those were what's, but I'm just trying to be genuine of what's coming to my mind to help this man talk about his truck. What did you do with your truck? What do you need to do with your truck? And probably just thinking about a man and his truck, my husband has a truck, that could have something to do with his identity and his usefulness.
Absolutely.
Just like the baby for the mama, right? Isn't that good?
Yeah, I like how you just kind of lean in and ask the questions. And those prompts can be very helpful, but just thinking of it as a conversation and not trying to overthink it, but to just naturally ask those questions and to just uncover a little bit more to make them feel heard, seen. And you might learn something really interesting when you ask those questions too. And it might help you over time because we often see people living with dementia asking these same kinds of questions over time. So you might find that one approach works the first couple of times or one doesn't. So, okay, maybe next time I'll start with a who question instead of a what question or something of that nature. You can kind of just kind of finesse that over time. But I think that those conversation starters are so helpful.
Yep. Because thank you, Lakelyn, for saying that. You could challenge yourself. Mom always says this. So how could I ask some different questions next time or tomorrow or today. So then you could challenge yourself outside of the conversation. What would be a who question? Like who? Oh, who was your mom again? A what question? What did she look like? What was she like? What was her personality? Where did you live? Where did you like going with your mom? When did you like going there? Sometimes you can tap into the last question, right? How did your mom make you feel? Now, could that make someone cry, Lakelyn, if I asked, how did your mom make you feel? And I want to bring up crying, everybody. We shy away from crying. It makes me sad. That's funny. It makes me want to cry because crying is normal. And I'm just shocked by how often I hear people say, don't make me cry. Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm such a crybaby. And my daughter, who's 20, and I have made a pact that we're going to help people cry. We're not going to shut them down. Because if I say don't cry, I just invalidated you. Isn't that ironic?
Right.
We don't need to do that. This old person who misses their mom probably does need to cry, and that's okay. One thing we've learned in this work, everyone, is you family members, healthcare providers, we want to fix things. You kind of feel obligated. The healthcare provider gets paid money to fix stuff. And then sometimes they look at you as the family member. Could you fix that? You know her better than we do. And see, we can't fix what happened to someone when they were little, something bad. We can't undo it, but we could help them cry and get those terrible feelings out. And how do we usually feel after a really good cry?
Oh, so good. Yeah. There are so many times that I just need a good cry and then I feel so much better. Exactly. So of course that doesn't go away just because we develop dementia in our later years.
That's right. And then,
that's a really good point.
What I realize is in the end, did you fix it in a way by helping someone? That's what validation does, is you help them express whatever feelings are bottled up. They're their feelings. And even if that includes crying, you actually did help them. Isn't that wonderful? That's why I call these the most helpful techniques I've ever run into. And then this last one, I have fun saying, keep it in your back pocket, okay? You can't think of any other questions. And you just pull out, tell me more. That is like magical, right? Tell me more about your truck. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about your mom. And those are some of the most immediate parts of validation method that I could share in a short podcast.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that and for walking us through so many of those examples, because I think that, the questions about wanting to go home or where is my mom or where are the children, those are very common questions that caregivers encounter. And so by having just a little sneak peek into this validation method and a few tools in your toolbox, some extra tools in your toolbox can be helpful for family caregivers as they try to just think of a new approach. And I also love that you brought up, the emotions behind it, because you're right. So often we don't want to make someone else cry, but that might just be the release that they need. If there's chronic crying, that might be another issue that needs to be addressed. But, if they're crying because they're talking about their mom, I fortunately have my mom still living, and I know when she passes, that will be devastating for me, and I will grieve her the rest of my life. And so I know in another podcast episode, we've talked about grief and how it just shows up at different points in your life in ways, and sometimes in ways you don't expect. And so someone living with dementia, especially if in their mind they are a younger version of themselves, and they are missing their mom, I think it's beautiful to give them that space to grieve and to kind of let those emotions out.
Yeah, good for you. I would just maybe close with a real life example. I'm teaching this validation every month for the New Hampshire and Vermont healthcare associations. And get this, one of the organizers herself lives with her mom who has dementia. And I'm so thrilled every month to get an update. And she says that validation has helped her so much. So first of all, they learned to just rephrase and rephrase and rephrase. Whatever mom says, we just kind of say it back. Okay, so like, wow, that worked. Like there was no no extra stress. Okay. Then the next month, she's like, yeah, she just kind of said, again, we just say what she says. We talk about what she needs to talk about. And whatever is, like, if there's emotion, it kind of fizzles. Again, like, okay, why? Because we're listening. We're not arguing. And it kind of goes away. Then the next time she says, Carmen, it is so good that I don't feel so stressed now going to see my mom. I don't have to worry about what to say. It's diminished stress for all of us. Isn't that wonderful? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I think sometimes people do stop visiting their loved ones because they don't know what to say, or they are, hesitant to answer these kinds of questions. And so I think that another kind of beautiful, benefit of this approach is that you don't have to stress. You can just lean into that conversation, enter into their world, and be present with them, and just ask those probing questions. And I love that one that you say have in your back pocket. Just tell me more. I feel like I use that phrase often when I'm not quite understanding, or I want to see, okay, where is this person coming from? Like, tell me more about that. And it's surprising what people will continue to share. And so I'm grateful that you have taken time to share this method with us. And I know that, as you mentioned, you're teaching it over an entire year. So there's a lot more in depth that people can go into the validation method. So Carmen, what's the best way for people to continue learning on this topic and continue to follow your work?
Well, go to Validation Method website. And they, like I mentioned, films, they have a lot of free stuff, some you can purchase. And I have a video that is what I just shared, but a little more on my website, edu-catering.com. And just call me or email me if I can help you. There's 3 books. There's one book meant for family members, everybody. Go get it. Read it. It'll help you. It'll challenge you. It'll diminish stress for you. And family members, one other thing I thought of, Lakelyn, I got to go to the very first validation conference ever, 20-some years ago. And I got to hear family members share on stage how meaningful it was to have these techniques. And to your point, by just saying things like, tell me more, or asking more questions, who was that? They actually learn more things about their parents or their family members because they're asking more questions. So another neat thing, I'd recommend bring pictures. You never know when someone's going to have a lucid moment, and give names and dates and write stuff on the back of all those pictures. It might be a very beautiful thing to do together as well, and a neat way to validate a person in their life too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we'll be sure to link to all of those resources in the show notes so that people can visit the websites and look into the book and watch the videos. And again, Carmen, I just want to thank you for sharing. Maybe this new perspective might be new to some people, but hopefully people can try it out in their day-to-day caregiving. And we would be so interested to hear in our Caregiver Chats inbox if people are finding this to be an effective way to address some of those common, questions and situations that caregivers face on a day-to-day basis as they support their loved one living with dementia.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
A heartfelt thank you to Carmen Bowman for joining me today and sharing her wisdom on the validation method. Her insights remind us that caregiving isn't about the tasks or schedules. It's about presence, empathy, and truly seeing the person in front of us. To all of our listeners, I hope you walk away with new tools and confidence for those moments that can sometimes feel overwhelming. Whether it's rephrasing a question, inviting your loved one to tell me more, or simply allowing space for emotions, these small shifts can make a big difference in reducing stress and building trust. If this episode was helpful to you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another caregiver who may be in a similar situation. And if you have caregiving stories or future topic ideas, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me anytime at caregiverchats@homeinsteadinc.com. You can also follow us on social media at Home Instead Inc. Thanks so much for listening, and please remember to take good care of yourself while you care for others. Caregiver Chats is brought to you by Home Instead. If you're looking for in-home care to support you on your caregiving journey, please visit homeinstead.com to learn more.